The emergence of a ride-sharing service in Bermuda has prompted a warning from the government. Bermuda Broadcasting discovered that a service called Island Go, which operates throughout the Caribbean, has been set up here. However, a spokesperson for TCD told us that it is currently unlawful for private cars to carry passengers for hire or reward, whether by way of an app or cash. Only vehicles holding a valid public service vehicle license, taxis for example, can carry passengers for hire and reward. Cooper Stevenson reports.
Island Go bills itself as a, quote, decentralized, autonomous, location-agnostic platform providing a private carpooling service. In other words, it's a ride-sharing app. And we checked it out. I entered my credit card details and with just a few clicks, booked myself a ride from here at Bermuda Broadcasting to the Transport Control Department. I watched as a little car made its way across the screen towards me here at Fort Hill. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, it arrived. The cost? $13.93. The driver didn't want to be named or filmed, but he was happy to discuss his new hustle, which he began Tuesday. A legal disclaimer on the Island Go website states, quote, to the platform's knowledge, it does not fall within the scope of specific laws and regulations governing ride-sharing apps. Users are responsible for adhering to their local laws when using the application, end quote. I asked the driver why he thinks the service might not qualify as a ride-sharing app, and he told me he hadn't a clue. He simply saw an opportunity to make some money and, quote, snapped at it. In order to become a driver with Island Go, he told me, he had to provide proof of insurance, his driver's license, his vehicle registration, and, quote, that's pretty much it. He told me that he didn't speak to anybody in person or over the phone. It was all done online. I asked the driver if he'd taken out any additional insurance in order to drive for the company. He told me that he had not, although after I'd mentioned it, he did admit he found that a bit odd. He wasn't aware of any other drivers that were working for the company, and he hadn't had many fares, only 4, 1 tourist, and 3 locals. According to the website, Island Go operates in the Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, the Turks and Caicos, Barbados, U.S. Virgin Islands, Aruba, and St. Lucia. I asked the driver about the payment structure. He said it is a 60-40 split, with 60% of the fare going to him and 40% going to Island Go. To get his payment, he downloaded a money-sharing app called Deal, spelled D-E-E-L, through which he is paid weekly. The emergence of the ride-sharing service will be a surprise to many. Although Cabinet approved a pilot ride-sharing service back in March, legislation has not yet been enacted, and taxi drivers have publicly raised their concerns about the proposal. In a statement to Bermuda Broadcasting, a spokesperson for the Transport Control Department told us, quote, our aim is clear, to supplement and not compete with the existing taxi service by establishing a properly regulated ride-sharing pilot that prioritizes safety, security, sustainability, and efficient movement of people. There can be no doubt that Bermuda's public service vehicle transportation system cannot meet the demands presented, especially at this time of year. The ride-sharing initiative will provide the supplemental transport capacity to meet the demand. On the specific issue of an app and ride service already being used locally in advance of necessary changes to the law, the TCD spokesperson continued, quote, it is unlawful for private motor cars to carry passengers for hire or reward, whether by way of app or cash. Only vehicles holding a valid public service vehicle license can carry passengers for hire and reward, end quote. And indeed, my driver had an inkling that that was the case, especially after my questions. He told me after our ride that he planned on deleting the app. Cooper Stevenson, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
We reached out to Island Go yesterday and today for comment, but received no reply.